and welcome to the 42nd edition of the Fallout Feed Roundtable. It's the 12th episode of Season 4. We are the show who compares and contrasts Fallout experiences through a lively roundtable discussion by playing through the same quests with characters who have been randomly assigned drastically different attributes. Welcome, everyone! Hi, everybody. I am Andrew. Welcome to the show. Tonight, we are joined by Ray. Hello, Ray.
Hey, Andrew. How's it going?
Very well, sir. Very well indeed. How are you doing?
I'm doing great.
Wonderful. How's your new studio checking out up there? I know you moved a lot of your equipment around the house.
Yeah, it's coming together.
Nice. Any big additions or subtractions you've done recently?
No, just trying to get it dialed in.
Yeah, nice. Well, tonight on the round table, looks like we're shaping up towards the end of Fallout New Vegas here. If I'm not mistaken, this was the second to last quest that we'll get into, I believe. Is that correct, Ray?
That is correct.
And for the NCR, our quest was called "When You Know," you'll know it when it happens. Caesar's Legion did one called Arizona Killer. Yes Man was finishing touches. And House was The House Always Wins, 6 and 7. Have you done the Mr. House stuff before, Ray?
No, I never did play all the way through with Mr. House. I usually end up either siding with the NCR or with Yes Man by the time it's all said and done.
So you have done Yes Man, so that's cool. We can hear a little bit about that. But I'm interested to see how the whole Mr. House side of it plays out. Do you think you can choose between the two, or can you just let them fight it out? Like I'm curious how that all works. Do we have anybody with feedback doing House? I don't think so, do we?
No, I don't think so. Well, so if you're doing Yes Man, one of the early quests is to kill Mr. House and move Yes Man into the mainframe there.
So, is there a storyline where Mr. House makes it all the way through the whole game?
If you side with Mr. House, then he goes all the way through.
And who's your enemy at that point? Everyone? Like, are you against NCR? Are you against Legion? Or can you choose to side with one of the two of those in the final battle? Or how does that work?
I don't know. I've never done it with Mr. House.
Interesting. Well, maybe Leon knows. Leon, look into that for us, will you, bud?
Yeah, Leon's got it covered.
That's if you hadn't noticed, Ray, that's kind of my thing, just to pass shit off to other people.
I hadn't noticed a bit.
That's a good idea. Ray, get on it. Yeah, nice. So coming up on the show, Ray, in the next couple weeks, we've got some fairly exciting stuff. As we wind down this season of the Roundtable, we're of course starting to put the plans together for our next season of the Roundtable, which will take place not too long after the conclusion of this one. Next season, I think we revealed last week that we're planning on doing the bobbleheads for Fallout 4. So instead of doing quests, we will be doing like bobbleheads. And each bobblehead, there's each of them has a category. There are 7 special bobbleheads. There are 7, I think, skill bobbleheads, or I don't know, and 6 of one category, the perks or whatever. So,
weapons is the one with 6.
Weapons is the one with 6. But we'll be doing all 20 of those. And what we're kind of wanting to do with that season is we'll have our normal hosts on to the show, but we want to try to, since you don't need to do all the quests, it's not like if you miss the first or second episode, you're going to be falling out and you won't be able to catch up. Since we're doing the bobbleheads, you don't have to do the whole thing. You can just jump in and out, and if you fall behind, so what? You can just jump in on the bobbleheads that we're going to do this week. So it's not a whole, freaking 4 to 6 month dedication like our past seasons have been. I feel like we always have lots of excitement and like 12 people sign up to do lots of awesome feedback, and it's lots of stuff coming in at the beginning, but then interest tails off at the end of the season. But I thought that maybe this was a good way. Well, Pat came up with the idea, but I thought, well, maybe this will be better to have more consistent feedback throughout the entire season too. So I'm hoping maybe that'll work.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it'll be great. And we're going to try to have on each episode, this was kind of like my idea, to have one of our ASA All-Stars, one of the names from the ASA podcasting community. I've already spoken with Michael, said he'll try to find some time to be on an episode, and Victor said he would gladly do one. Also, Colin says he would like to help us out, which is great. I asked Jeremy. Jeremy's really busy at work, so he doesn't think he'll be able to hop on or be able to promise. He's actually doing a really cool project at work. So shout out to Jeremy. Good luck with that stuff. Hopefully that's coming together okay. But also, I think Sherry might hop on an episode, and if anyone has an ASA podcasting name that you would like to hear on the show, shout us out. We'll try to include a little bit of everybody. And besides our ASA All-Stars, we'll also try to have a play-along person on every episode. So if you'd like to maybe try to be on the show sometime, you've never done that before, we encourage people to do some play-alongs, and then you can hop on the show sometime. So if you do a bunch of play-alongs, stick with us. We'll try to pull you on. And so that's where we stand with next season, going over the bobbleheads. We'll do one from each category each episode, and we're sort of ranking the schedule so that the easiest ones are first, and then they get a little bit harder as you go on. But I think we're doing 7 full episodes, but it'll be a shorter season than we're usually doing. We'll probably, again, I don't know. What do you think about this, Ray? With the feedback and stuff, do you still want to do 2 episodes of us and then 1 episode of feedback, then 2 of us and 1 of feedback, or 1 and 1? What do you think?
I think it makes sense to do 1 and 1.
1 and 1.
Yeah, since we're, it's so short, it's you don't want to, get too far behind on feedback. I mean, that's the whole idea, is to make this just a quick shot, bang bang. Everybody, everybody pops in when they can.
Sounds good. So we'll try to do an episode and then a feedback episode, interchanging links. So that'll be fun. Everyone, please write us in at thefalloutfeed@gmail.com to get all signed up for your random attributes. We're still doing the random stats and everything. We're not doing quests, but we're replacing the quests with bobbleheads, basically. But we're still doing our random stats and everything. Ray, what is the strategy again with bobbleheads and getting your special stats to 10? You want to get your special stat to 10 and then get the bobblehead so that you'll go to 11?
Correct.
Okay. So keep that in mind. I'm also hoping to add a Twitch aspect to this season. There are 20 bobbleheads. We would like 20 different Twitch videos on our ASA Podcasting Twitch feed. You can find that at twitch.tv/ASA Podcasting. But anyway, we'd like to Twitch stream live all of the bobblehead runs. But not just us, the hosts, but we'd also like to include people in the community. If you have a favorite bobblehead that you would like to make a run for and record a little video for us, please get a hold of us. We'd love to include you in our Twitch streaming thing. So hopefully we'll get all 20 of the bobbleheads on the Twitch video and dump those into YouTube so we can have those for a nice long while. But so some Twitch, some bobbleheads. I'm pretty excited about next season. It should be really good. Okay, Ray, do you have anything you want to mention before we hop into some quests and stuff tonight?
We just saw that the new Vortex mod manager from Nexus is in alpha, so that's supposed to be, if all goes well, released sometime before the end of February. So that could be interesting.
What is that again?
It's the new mod manager from Nexus Mod Manager. It's
Vortex?
It's called Vortex. It's the one that they brought over the guy from Mod Organizer to help them build.
Oh, nice.
So should be interesting.
So can you shed any light on it? Do you know anything about it?
Not too much. It's just it's a. I just watched the video that was posted in the Facebook group, and so it looks kind of cool.
I didn't see that. Shout out to whoever posted that. Do you remember who posted it?
I don't remember, but I can see. Let's see.
Um, awesome.
So that was Michael.
Oh,
Or sorry, Michelle.
oh, our Canadian friend. Thank you,
Yes.
Michelle. Speaking of mods, Ray, we have sort of a special favor to ask. I've been kind of bugging Victor about this, but he hasn't been playing much Fallout 4 recently. There's a big mod that he's hoping to get into. Remind me what it's called, Ray? Horizon, maybe? Is there a huge big story mod, something? It might not even be a story mod. It might be some sort of overhaul mod. You know anything about that? I believe it's called Horizon. I could be wrong.
Yeah, no, I'm not sure.
But anyway, Victor said that he would gladly help us out with the new season of the Fallout Roundtable. His favorite bobblehead is the explosives. Sorry. So he will. I asked him if he would like to do the Twitch video for explosives. So we've got that one dog-eared for Victor. He's gonna go fight the. What are those guys called over the fact? Whatever they're called. The Forged. Yeah. He's gonna run over there and attack those guys for us. So that'll be great. But Ray, I have a giant favor to ask. I was bugging Victor about this. He says he might have to incorporate you because you might be more fresh with the data right now. But I asked him if he could put together a nice, safe, steady, stable mod list for people to use for our next season of the Roundtable. So if you want to help curate that list with Victor, I don't know if he's reached out to you yet or anything, but we've spoken over the last couple days, trying to put some ideas together for the season. So, Ray, can we use your input?
I'm always game.
I'm always like, Ray, we got stuff to do. Can you do it all?
I'm on it.
So useful, Ray. Thank you. Speaking of, I don't know, did you use a mod for this or not? You must have. What's going on with your Fallout 4 NCR character? Because you said you brought an NCR character all the way from the Mojave into Fallout 4. Are you still playing that?
Off and on. I've been messing around with Skyrim.
Ooh, what are you doing in Skyrim?
Most recently? Well, just trying to get back into the legacy and do the old the mod organizer, refreshing myself on how to use that mod manager, and so I've been playing around with that a lot.
For any particular reason? Do you have some project coming up?
No, just because Victor's been talking about it so much. It's like, oh, okay, I got to try it again.
Yeah, that's great. That's very similar to what Sherry's sort of done for the group recently. I kind of feel like the Fallout 4 chatter had sort of died off for a little bit there because we've been deep into New Vegas. There's the Oblivion roundtables going on. People are paying attention to sort of other things, and then Sherry gets back into Fallout 4 in a big bad way. Starts posting lots of settlement videos, talking about building up her castle, getting her settlers like building really specific shelving units for her rad resistant stuff. She wants to display all of her the hazmat suit and radaway and all that stuff together. And it's been really fun to watch her. She even's been watching videos on YouTube about how to make the floors and ceilings and walls actually perfect so that there's no like big holes in the ceiling and everything. You can actually replace the floors and stuff kind of. So
yep.
Really awesome to see Sherry work through all this stuff, and she's very methodical in how she does her stuff, and it's great to sort of watch the steps she's taking to progress that storyline. So,
yeah, those threads have been great.
That kind of has lit a fire under my ass, and I've started playing Fallout 4. I've been playing the last 3 weeks or so, and I've been just getting really pumped about the next season of the Roundtable. No offense to New Vegas, I've had a wonderful time in New Vegas, but it'll be a really, really nice treat to get back into Fallout 4 really heavy with a a new Roundtable character. I'm
So
ready to.
the ranger character, I mean, super fun to play, because just all he does is, well, so his focus is on wiping out the gunners, and so he goes to every gunner location in the game. But inevitably you run across a lot of raiders, and so you get to shoot them too. But everything else he's been ignoring, and so it you can get away with that a little bit easier uh, with the start mod, because you're not having to build yourself all the way up from zero,
Yeah.
because the character is somebody who's had NCR training, and he's spent years crossing the country to get to the Commonwealth. So he's not a new character. So I started him at level 10.
Oh, still, that's pretty low. I thought you were going to say like level 30 or 40 or something.
Oh, no. It's 10 is plenty good enough for killing gunners.
Yeah. Where's your hive of gunners? There's, of course, down there where the Minutemen got slaughtered.
Right, Quincy,
yeah.
There's a couple of different vaults, 95 and 75, I think it is, the one at the middle school.
Yeah, I ran into 95 the other day. I forgot that there was just gunners. I was going in there expecting like to find some vault dwellers, and I was like, oh, fuck.
Yep.
They're shooting at you from up top and stuff.
Yeah, and most of the overpasses that you can access have gunners on them.
Hey, Ray, if I say Andrew really, really wants a combat rifle early in the game, where are you going to send me? See, I would say go for gunners, right?
No, gunner. Well, I don't know that they have them early on. If you're at the very beginning of the game, the easiest place to go is Vault 81. Go in there and buy the Overseer's Guardian.
And that's a combat rifle. What is it? Does it have a legendary effect, I assume?
Yeah, it's got the 2-shot on it.
Oh, that's a nice one. The explosive and the 2-shot are some of my favorites.
Yeah.
That's probably fairly expensive though, early on in the game. I just ran into that dude. I think he walks between 10 Pines and some other place, but he sells you a mantis greave for like 20,000 caps. You're like,
oh yeah, no.
Like, well, that's totally pointless. The stupid metal armor I have has almost the same, has better stats. It just doesn't have whatever perk, like 15% resistance against something or other, like. I know.
Yeah, usually if I want a sniper rifle, I go over to the first settlement that Preston asked you to go to. Is that 10 Pines?
Yeah, it might be 10 Pines.
And between there and the crashed airplane is an overpass that has 3 gunners on it.
Yeah.
And so it takes a little bit of work because they're definitely tough early on, but you wipe them out, and the one up on top has a sniper rifle.
Nice. See, in a previous game, if you go to the hippie robot commune, you know what I mean, with the big garage in the middle. What's that one called? The
Sunshine Tidings.
Yeah, Sunshine Tidings. And by the way, I tried to follow Mr. Groovy to see where he was going because I've never actually seen that through, and he just got shot up by some raiders about a mile down the road and he died. So have you done his thing where you send him away and then follow him and see what happens?
No, I just usually let him cruise around, and eventually when you piss off the super mutants that patrol the area, he's the first to go.
He always gets shot. You see, they have this thing that they wrote into the game where you send him to a repair shop all the way on the east coast of the of the map, basically. And so I wanted to see, okay, well, they wrote it in there for a purpose. Let's see what happens. And I've never actually successfully done it. So if anyone out there has sent Mr. Groovy to the repair shop and actually gotten something to happen, let us know. Also, Dennis, I think, mentioned those towers that you can raise. There's like 5 or 10 of them around the countryside. You know what I mean, Ray?
The radio towers.
Radio towers. Do those do something if you get like all of them up? Have you ever figured that?
No, but each one that you raise will give you new radio stations that have, different little, not really quests, but like, one of them you raise it up and you get a distress call if you follow it.
I was gonna ask distress.
You clear out that the Fallon's department store that has the super mutants in it. Just by what is it? Jamaica Plains.
Yeah.
And
ghouls.
there's a switch behind you clear the ghouls out of Jamaica Plain, and then you go over to the Fallon's department store and kill all the super mutants. Yeah. And in the behind one of the counters is a switch to open a secret passage, and you can go into this little room that this woman had hidden in, and was using the radio to try to get somebody to come rescue her.
Yeah,
but of course she's a skeleton.
Yeah, it's been a couple hundred years.
Yeah.
Is there something about the parking garage hooked onto the Fallon's department store that I'm remembering that I'm forgetting at the same time?
Yeah, so it's a maze full of all kinds of gross and scary stuff that you make your way through, and when you get to the pretty much to the end, you have a selection of 2 rooms that you can pick from, and so you get the loot in one of the 2 rooms. But as soon as you pick one room, the other one burns up. So
okay. And is it randomized, or is it the same like treasure each time?
I think it's the same every time.
Okay. Interesting.
It's kind of one is one is more guns and the other one's more power armor type stuff. A lot of power cores and stuff.
Well, gosh, we've got some quests to get into, Ray, so we better do that. But I guess before we do, I'll mention we're going to try, before we start the next season of the Roundtable, after we finish this season of the Roundtable, we're going to try to squeeze in, if we can find time and he can join us. I have been in contact with a artist from Bethesda, Mr. Jonah Loeb. He is a dragon designer from the Skyrim games. He is also an artist and designer, character designer for Fallout 3 and Fallout 4. And he's posted lots of his cool like drawings and mock sculptures and stuff like that I've seen on Twitter. So he's a really good follow on Twitter. He also writes kind of like little articles about what it's like to be working in the gaming industry. There's one that drew my attention to him, was about how it was just he's saying everyone really wants to get into the gaming industry, but no one really understands before they do how transient it can be and how volatile the work conditions can be. And it's always high pressure, fast. You work and work and work. And then you're once the game ends, then, if you're just a contract guy, sometimes that can be the end of your job with it. You have to find new work every, couple years or every couple months or something. So it's a really good introspective look into the gaming industry. So look up Jonah Loeb on Twitter, and we're going to hopefully get him on to the Fallout feed. So that'll be really fun. I hope we can pull that off.
Yeah, definitely cool.
All right. Let's get into our quest for this evening. Ray, where were you? Are you doing Caesar? So your quest was called Arizona Killer, correct?
Yep.
All right. How are you doing?
Doing good. So, Caesar, after you save him from his brain problem, tells you, hey, thanks a lot, appreciate it. Hey, could you go kill President Kimball?
What?
Trying to destabilize the enemy.
Mhm.
Um,
I guess it makes sense. Yeah.
yeah. And so he sends you off to meet up with his scout for the area. And this guy, I think they might have been running short on names and forgot this guy needed a name. So his name is Cato Hostilius.
That's great.
And so you go talk to him, and he says, "Oh, you finally made it." He said, "We got to rest up. We've got a big, a big job in front of us." And so the screen goes dark. When it comes back on, he's dressed in a suit. He was in just like Raider gear before, and so he says, "Okay, do you know how you want to pull this off?" Um, so you tell him you've got a plan, and you can ask him, if he's got any input or anything. Um, but essentially, once you say, "Okay, I'm ready to go," he runs off because he's dressed as a billionaire cattle baron,
Of course.
and
Polo tie, big white hat.
actually he's all brown. And so you have to decide how you're going to do this job. So there's a few different ways you can pull it off.
I was gonna say, do they present options?
I mean, there is a lot of options. So there's science and repair options, there's guns and explosives options, and even melee and unarmed options. But he gives you a set of NCR armor that you wear and warns you that while it'll fool the regular NCR troopers, stay away from the Rangers because the Rangers will see right through your disguise.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So, um, so Coyote's good with guns, so he's got a nice silenced sniper rifle that he carries. So he walks up and takes out the NCR sniper that's up on top of the tower, and then goes and tells Cato that it's that he's ready to go, and he says, "Okay, good, because here comes the vertibird."
So you took out the sniper first,
right?
Okay.
And so in comes the vertibird. You go climb up on top of the tower and wait for President Kimball to come around and start giving his speech. And from where you're at, it's a clean shot right to the back of his head.
Where does he give this speech? He doesn't give it up on top of the tower where the vertibird lands, does he?
No. He comes down. They've got a little stage set up with a microphone and everything, and an area for the crowd to gather. For all the the troopers and the rich people that paid their way into the event.
Rich? I don't think there were any rich people at mine. That's interesting. Where was the sniper position that you took out before the vertibird? Was it on the same tower the vertibird was going to land on, or was it the one on the far?
The one on the opposite side.
Because he is way the fuck far off. I couldn't hit him with any of my. I don't have sniper weapons, so I couldn't shoot.
Yeah, it was trivial with the sniper rifle that the Coyote has.
Yeah,
So now he didn't have a anti-material rifle at that point in time.
An anti-material rifle? Did you say?
Yeah.
What is that?
So that's the that's the big gun in the game that you can shoot people in power armor with.
Is that the one from the intro of the game where he shoots that big long shot from the thing right under the sign and it goes through like someone's eye or whatever?
Yeah.
A mile away or whatever.
Yeah, and the interesting thing about that gun is if you have standard rounds in it and you shoot a a person, it does very little damage.
So, what kind of rounds do you need then?
You could use explosive rounds or incendiary rounds, because I think the idea is that it just passes right through them. But if you shoot somebody in power armor,
packed and explode.
They go right away.
Interesting.
But you can with an anti-material rifle, you can shoot down the vertibird.
Wow. Did you attempt that? Did you?
No, because I didn't have one at that time. Once I did this quest and realized that I could have had a lot of fun with the anti-material rifle, I went and got one.
Where did you get that? Was it at the Legion like stockade or whatever it's called?
So I went. I think I got it at was it Camp Echo, the one that has all the ghouls. One of the NCR camps.
What was that? Do you have a smart house going off?
Yeah, that was my Echo device.
Someone breaking in, Ray?
Yeah, no. She was just telling me about some game that was triggered by what I just said.
Alexa, fuck off.
Yeah, I got on headphones.
It's Echo. That's a different thing.
No, it's the same thing.
Oh, is it the same thing?
Yeah.
Do you have like the smart light bulbs and stuff? Oh, that's great. I really want to save up a little bit and invest in all the.
Yeah, it's kind of fun.
Stat and light bulbs and the door locks and everything. That sounds cool. Robot house.
Yeah. So one of the rangers at that fort had one, and so it was easy to get that way.
I'm trying to look it up. There's Craig mentioned it in his feedback, I believe. I don't remember if you commented on it, Ray. He said he went to the Legion like stockpile or something, where they had a bunch of reserves and some sort of armory, where he got a bunch of really cool gear.
Oh no, that was the Brotherhood of Steel.
That was the Brotherhood stockpile.
Yeah, okay. Down in the bunker.
Did you get gear out of there? Was it that locked room that he was talking about that I never got? Okay.
Yeah, I didn't get in there either.
But I found one for the NCR. Does the Legion have a room like that?
Probably. I know they have a vendor.
Yeah, but the one I found for the NCR, it's like tucked into a canyon and a hidden back little wall. You probably know about it, Ray, right? I'm assuming. I know but you can. I was bitching and moaning last episode about not being able to get power armor, and like I killed everyone at the Brotherhood of Steel. So how am I going to get training? Oh wait, there's someone over at the Mormon fort, and blah blah blah. Well, evidently you don't have to do any of all that crap. I found this. I wish I remembered exactly what the location was called, but it's just like a hidden, tucked away NCR armory where you can get NCR power armor for which you need no. So you need no training for it. So you can just hop right into it and wear it. And then there's also the NCR Ranger armor that is, that all the badasses are wearing on top of the dam for the final battle, or in the beginning of the game, the artwork of the game, that NCR Ranger armor. They have both of those. Did you know that Ranger armor and the power armor have the same damage resistant stats?
Nope.
I would have thought that the power armor would have been a lot more.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's evidently not all that awesome in this game. I think the power armor looks weird in this game. In Fallout 4 it looks so much more substantial, and it actually feels like you're wearing a tank. You know what I mean? It feels still like armor in Fallout New Vegas, but it feels like you're wearing a tank in Fallout 4. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and they definitely went that direction with it. But in 3 and in New Vegas, it's more just like just heavy armor.
Yeah. But they
Doesn't
still make
really have the servos and all that good stuff.
you train for it, don't they?
Oh yeah.
Get nothing for free. Sorry, I interrupted. Where were you?
Okay, so I shot Kimball, and everybody runs around in a panic. They don't know where I'm at because I had a silencer.
Okay, where were you again? You were on top?
I was on top of the tower.
Where the vertebrae?
Opposite of where the vertibird was. So behind the president's
and
stage.
to the right? Behind the stage and to the right if you're looking at the stage? Okay. How do you get up there? Was there a ladder behind the... I didn't actually walk around that tower, I don't think.
Yeah, there's a door that you can go in, but there's people inside. But if you go up the ladder on the outside, there's nobody to get in your way.
Would the people on the inside hassle you? Aren't you wearing some sort of NCR disguise?
As long as they're just... I didn't go in this time. I just went up because it was easy. But if there's a ranger in there, then they would recognize that you're fake.
Yeah, that's right. You said that. Those rangers are smart. They're always stealing my picnic baskets.
Mm-hmm. So then I fast traveled back to the fort to tell Caesar that I was successful, and immediately got killed by about 4 legionnaires.
What'd you do?
Forgot to take off the NCR disguise. I'm like, as soon as I saw my character die on the ground and the NCR emblem showed, I'm like, shoot. Does it still do? But it was just as well anyway, because this, as I was thinking about what I had done, it was, one, it was too easy, and 2, it left the howitzer on the dam for the NCR to use later
against you. Yeah. Huh.
So one of the other ways that you can kill the president is if you have a repair skill of 50 or higher, and my repair skill is 90. You can reprogram the control computer for the gun and rig it to explode.
Okay. The howitzer is only available through the Legion stuff, right? I don't recall any mention of it in my NCR stuff. That's only a Legion thing, right?
Yeah, because you wouldn't try to kill the assassin with the big gun like that.
Yeah.
At close range, you'd take out the whole building.
Goodbye.
So I started it over again. This time you have to weave your way between the patrols to get up onto the first level of the building that the vertibird lands on.
Yes.
And there's a computer sitting there, and you go over and la da 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 da, and there's a little trooper standing there guarding the this little fenced off area where the president comes through, but you're able to stand there and monkey with the computer and rig it to explode.
Right. I don't believe there's a computer there in the NCR playthrough where you're describing. I don't believe there is a desk, like a weird sort of alcove, like a checkpoint desk thing.
Mm-hmm.
And a private protecting the ladder. You can't just run up there. I had to reload many times. Sorry. Anyway, go ahead.
So once you rig the computer, it waits until he's in the middle of his speech, and then it finally overheats and explodes.
The howitzer.
The howitzer does.
And it's positioned close enough to...
It's right next to the stage where they're all at. And I kicked myself for not grabbing a screenshot, but when it explodes, in the fireball, you see 4 bodies fling into the air, fly off and into the lake.
Oh, that means you can't scavenge them. Do you know if the president's suit has any cool perks, bonuses to it?
Oh, I have no idea, because I would have had to kill everybody, and I just didn't have time to do that.
What are the Rangers wearing? Are you got guys in power armor walking around, or are they wearing that Ranger armor?
No, just the Ranger armor.
Nice.
So, but yeah, so now that gun's gone, so they won't be able to shoot down the Legion as they cross the dam.
And did that kill everyone on top of that dam, or did you have to still fight your way out?
No, I just walked out. Because I was already far enough away, nobody could see me.
Yeah, because you would set the computer to do it, and then you just left, right?
Yeah, well, I stayed so I could watch, but
yeah. Well, you got to be morbid a little bit.
A little bit.
Got to watch the fruits of your labor, right?
It was funny to watch those bodies fly through the air. I mean, it was spectacular.
I watched
it did a little cartwheel through the sky.
Nice. That's awesome. So the bodies were the president, Major,
the guy,
what's her name? Cassandra, and what's the guy's name?
There to
Ranger
Trooper
Grant?
Jensen. No, Trooper Jensen. The guy that he's there to honor.
He's honoring, yeah. Did you ever run across a character called Ranger Grant? He's someone in the NCR who you do a few. You have to check in with him a couple times in this quest on my side.
At the dam?
Yeah, on the top of the dam there during this quest. Did you ever run into a Ranger Grant? He has a patch over his eye.
No, okay. Well, maybe yeah. I did shoot a guy with a patch over his eye.
Yeah, I was hoping that I could steal the eye patch. It wouldn't. I reloaded many times because I was doing things like, what happens if I kill Ranger Grant? See if I can take his eye patch. No, they don't let you take his eye patch.
Is he the guy with the dog?
I just thought that would. No. That guy was not named on the NCR side. He was just NCR guard. And I'm glad you brought that up because I actually made a note to bring that up. If you interact with that guy, you can, I couldn't actually pull it off because I have not dog me. I have Rex with me. And so I couldn't do it, but it's obvious through the conversation tree there that dog you can make it a follower. You can bring that dog with you, at least for the scene. I'm not sure about if it's one of those tag along followers that if you leave in the middle of before completing this quest, if he'll just follow you endlessly until you complete this quest, that sort of thing. You know how Bethesda loves to put those types of characters in games, and I love to abuse that sort of thing.
Right.
So I'm not sure if he is that or not, but you can, at least for this quest, have that dog as a follower. And that it plays into the NCR angle, the NCR side of this quest, which I'll try to remember to mention when I get into it.
Yeah, so then it wouldn't have been the same guy, but
the guy was named.
I'm not certain.
But
I didn't really ask.
I just killed him. I don't know.
I didn't really have to, but he was right there.
He was in my way.
He might have had something good on him, but no.
So
some 357 ammo is about it.
Did you take the vertibird out for a joyride or anything after killing the president?
No, because there were still plenty of the Rangers around.
Oh, nice. Was there a half decent battle there? Are you playing on a high difficulty level? Was it tough to get out?
No, I just walked out because nobody
That's
knew
right.
I did it.
Where? But okay. So you said you stuck around to watch,
Mm-hmm.
but you just
But I was
walked out.
dressed. Well, I was dressed as a trooper, so all
Okay.
they
So,
knew was that I was some random NCR trooper that was hanging around.
and as long as you didn't cross a ranger, they wouldn't have been able to tell. So, what did you? Did you watch from the top of the tower and then go inside and out?
Now I watched from over by um, the statues that are across the road. The two big, the pointy wing things.
I didn't even explore the area very much, I guess. Hmm. I did find a couple of doors wrapped around the outside of the main entrance building and the entryway up top in the tower, but I didn't look around the backside of the stage or that tower that you were taking position from.
Yeah,
Interesting.
that's where all the fun was.
So Vertibird didn't get blown up
No, Bird's still okay.
and you watched and just walked out. Gosh, that sounds like some movie. What movie is that reminding me of where the guy just is dressed to blend in and walks out and watches everything go down in flames? That's awesome, Ray. Good job. Is there what else did you have to do? Did you have to go back and report back to Caesar?
Yeah. And then that's when he tells you to get ready for the big fight.
Okay. Well, you've blown up the president, and in my playthrough, in the NCR playthrough, the corporal or major or commander or whoever it is, the top dog lady, is up there too with the president. So she would have died as well.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So I'm looking at the Google Earth picture of the Hoover Dam, and it's a statue just outside of the visitor center that has these two winged people. So they look like men.
Is it like the Never-Ending Story statues? Are they across from each other with laser beam eyes?
No, they're side by side.
Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah, no laser beams.
Laser beams are pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Right on. So you went back, spoke to Caesar to give you anything cool?
No, just as undying thanks.
Yeah.
Since he didn't die.
You took out his brain tumor. You think the dude would give you, some? Is there Legion? Should be Legion power armor. That'd be sweet.
You gain Legion cred.
Oh man, you got mad Legion cred by now, Ray.
Oh yeah.
Nice. Well,
and after I took out 3 of the NCR camps, I'm officially vilified.
Meaning you, after you blew up the dam, you went and found more camps, or that was the third, that counted as the third installment?
No, I just went to the like Forlorn Hope and what are the other ones?
Karen or something?
Yeah, C and E. I don't know. They all look the same. They've got a bunch of rangers. They got a bunch of troopers.
Stupid troopers, stupid rangers.
You shoot them and take the stuff.
Ray, the NCR stockpile thing that I couldn't remember the name of earlier. Mm-hmm. It's called the NCR Ranger Safe House. If anybody wants to look up their NCR Ranger Safe House. It's where you get a power armor where you need no training and the NCR armor. I don't know at what point it becomes accessible because I didn't know about it until Craig and I were chatting on Twitter, and he pointed out to me when he got the Legion version of that room somewhere, and I asked him, "Oh, hey, I wonder if there's a NCR version," and he looked it up on the wiki and said, "Oh, yep, here you go." So I went and found that. I'm not sure at what point that becomes accessible. Probably after you gain favor to them. And I think you get the key at Fort McCarran from the whoever's the boss guy there. I forget his name. Corporal who's he? What's it? Okay, Ray. Was there anything else to your quest? Did you get 1,000 XP at the end there, depending on your intelligence?
Yeah, I don't remember how many XP it was. It was hefty.
Yeah,
I did level up.
yeah.
So I'm level 20 now.
How many? What percentage of your experience bar would 1,000 XP give you at this point? At level 20.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm bad at that, but your XP gets less and less efficient as you level up. You know what I mean? Or like less and less. You have to earn more and more XP to level up. Cool. I like the vertibird. Do you know the name of the vertibird, Ray?
Air Force One.
Bear Force One. Isn't that the greatest?
You gotta love these guys.
It has a two-headed bear painted on the side of the vertibird. Because of the NCR flag with the double-headed bear, Bear Force One. I just
what else are you gonna call it?
It's so cute. These Fallout riders just tongue-in-cheek, sarcastic fun, and just fun and games everywhere you go. Good stuff. Did you have anything else for that quest there, Ray?
No, that wrapped it up for me.
Yeah, that sounds good. What's your main weapon? You said sniper rifle you're liking to use. What were you using close up?
I used the mysterious revolver.
Mysterious revolver. Have you mentioned that in the past? Can you remind me what that is?
That's the one that the mysterious stranger carries.
Oh. Is that a mod or is that something you pick up in the game?
No, you pick it up in the game.
Interesting. That's fun.
You can if you meet the guy with the cowboy hat and the guitar next to the billboard after you on your way to Boulder City.
Huh.
When you're leaving Novak, and you can chat him up, and there's a quest that you can pick up from I think it's the Atomic Wrangler, or one of those. Maybe it's one of the ones on the strip, but you can recruit talent for their shows, and he's one of the people that you can recruit. And if you recruit him, he'll give you the gun. When you talk to him, you can go through his story, and it alludes to the fact that his dad was the mysterious stranger.
Yeah, I was going to say, how's it connected to the mysterious stranger then? So that means that there's lore behind. I didn't even know that there was a story behind the mysterious stranger. That's really interesting.
Yeah, so he talks about how his dad left. He was a mysterious fellow, as his mom always said, so he makes a little play on words that associates mysterious stranger, and when you get this gun from him, it plays the sound that the mysterious stranger makes when he pops up in your game if you have him as one of your perks.
Nice.
And so it plays the first half of the jingle when you pull it out of the holster, and then when you put it back in the holster, it plays the last little riff.
That's cool. That's fun.
Yeah.
Actually,
so now there is another way that you can get it. If you don't want to take the time to do the quests, to find all the talent, you can kill him and take it from him.
Oh, well, there you go. Pickpocket, not an option.
I don't know. My pickpocket skill wasn't good, but my gun skill was.
I was gonna say, Ray never. You're a shoot first kind of guy, generally in these games.
It's effective.
Ray never knows the peaceful way out of the situation. He doesn't do that option. Okay. So my side of it, it's interesting to hear it from your side. There's no howitzer on my end. We are tasked with patrolling the area, looking for anything suspicious while the president is around, and see if there's anything fishy going on. And we're supposed to protect him while he does his speech. The first, I don't know, 5-6 times I reloaded was due to trying to run up to that platform too quickly, and there's a private sitting there. I wanted to go up to the helicopter pad and welcome him and, protect him and walk him down. Well, the first time I tried to run straight up the ladder and they didn't like that. I guess they thought I was attacking him. So that pissed everybody off. And so I had to reload there, and I went back. And I finally figured out, I'm walking past this checkpoint that I'm not supposed to be walking past. But which I found out eventually, that checkpoint there is a 50 speech check, and you can actually go up and look at the vertebrate and stuff. Anyhow, one of the other times that I had to reload was because I had my weapon drawn, and I had missed a warning. Ranger Grant says that if you have your weapon drawn, or if you approach anything quickly, if you go up to the president, or they will open fire. You will be considered an enemy or something. So I did have to reload plenty of times just to figure out what was going on around there. But eventually, the president gets there. Hops off the vertibird, and I just decided to patiently wait for him to come down. And so you escort the president through the crowd. Your crowd sounded a little different. You said there was like dignitaries or rich people or something around, right?
Well, that ended up just being Cato.
Oh, okay. Well, there was just NCR Rangers.
He talks about it as if it's going to be a crowd, but
okay.
Asset wise in the game, they don't really put too many people in it.
Yeah, there's I don't know, 9, 10, I don't know, a scattering of NCR Rangers. I don't know if they're all officers, if they're all Rangers, or if they have some lower ranked stuff. I think there were. Anyway, the president walks through the crowd and it goes up to his stage, and he has a private by his side, like Ray was mentioning. He does a nice long speech. Did you listen to much of the speech? How far did you make it through before you actually kill him? Is there any cue that forced you to? This is the time. This is the right moment.
No, just as soon as he gets up on stage.
Did you try?
If you're doing the sniping, you can snipe him right away.
And if you snipe him, if you don't do the howitzer and you snipe him and have to fight your way out, is that easiest? There's a tower straight down? An easy escape route?
No, if they see you and they start shooting you, your best bet would be to crouch down and wait for them to come up and shoot them as they come up.
Yeah.
But you would have to wipe out the whole place.
Yeah.
To get away.
Yeah, there's at least 10 officers running around or whatever. So, anyway, so he was getting into his speech, which is a very, very long, dry speech, Ray.
Yeah, I had to listen to most of it with the howitzer playthrough.
Yeah, I reloaded a few times. Even today, I went back because I was reading the notes on the wiki. I was like, oh, there's a couple different ways to play this. So I was like going back and trying to do it different ways. So I had to reload it today. And it's just crazy. All the different ways you can do stuff in the game. But so, gosh, one time I had to listen to the damn speech like 12 times. I hated it because I kept wanting. Not 12, but that was an exaggeration. Sorry, but like at least 3 or 4 times because I wanted to see like, oh, when will the sniper take him out, or when will because there's a bunch of different. There's like at least 2, if not 3, assassination attempts. There's the sniper from the rooftop that'll take him out, and that one surprised me the first time I saw it because I was just sitting there listening to his nice speech, and he's honoring this corporal, or I don't even know, cadet or something. This kid who did some sort of feat. I'm sure he rescued someone or something. I zoned out. You think I'd know what he did after listening to the speech more damn time? But the president, his head just kind of pops after a while. You're like, whoa, where'd that come from? And I didn't even notice, but I guess he was up on the tower where you were probably perched, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah, that was me.
I should have waved. Oh, hey, Ray, what are you doing up there? Oh, no, Ray, stop it.
You weren't dressed in NCR armor, were you?
I did. I had the
shoot, I might have shot you.
Oh no, I took a knee. I was pretending.
All right.
But anyway, his head kind of popped, and then you just failed. The quest just fails, and you're like, oh shit. And then it gives you the quest marker. Then says, go speak to what's her name? Command Corporal Cassandra. What's her name? God, I was Moore.
Right? Colonel Moore.
Colonel Moore. So, but then I went and spoke to her, and then the game gives you the notification at this point, Ray. It says, is there anything else that you want to do because you are about to go into the final battle? Please go do that now. And I saw that and I was like, okay, well, maybe I better save and wait and then come back when I actually want to do the final battle. And then I got on and I was chatting with you guys online. I was just like, well, hey man, I'm about to enter the final battle, so I want to try to enter. I got the Game of the Year edition, so I have all the DLC and all that, but I didn't load it at first because I didn't want all the DLC packs. I didn't want the extra armor and stuff when I started out the game. I wanted to try it as vanilla as possible, to get the best experience. So I didn't load the DLC at that point. And so I got to this point and I was like, well, maybe I should try to go ahead and load the DLC just before, this last thing, just in case, anything goes wrong. I want, because I heard that, okay, I was very confused and I misunderstood. I believe I was confusing it with Fallout 3 in some fashion. But I was under the impression that if you finish the game completely ends. But if you have DLC loaded, you can go ahead and play the rest of the game, all the DLCs and everything, after completing the main quest line. But then you guys informed me that might not be the case. Is that what you were saying? That as soon as you finish this next quest, no matter if you have DLC loaded or not, the game ends and you can't. I mean, I guess you could reload the save file or whatever, but after this next upcoming quest, the game is done, right? Do I understand correctly?
Yeah, that's the way I understand it.
So go play all your DLC, do everything you want to do. Once you play this final quest, the character is dead. It's not dead, but it rolls credits. I don't like that, Ray.
Yeah. I've never tried. I mean, I've always done the DLC beforehand.
Yeah.
I didn't own the game before the DLC came out.
Yeah.
So I got it all together.
Well, here's another problem, Ray. I went to try to load that DLC like I mentioned earlier, and I can't get it to go at this point. I think I would have had to load it at the beginning of the game, but that's weird because Pat said that you could activate it at any point during the playthrough, but on the Xbox One, I put in the second disc. I was trying to get it to load. I was looking through all the menus and the options and stuff. I don't know why I couldn't figure it out. I couldn't get any of the DLCs to load it, but I was hoping that I could load those DLCs so that I could maybe experience them just a little bit at least before locking this character off and not being able to go back and play them.
Yeah, look at your quest log. You should have a couple of quests in there to go do go to the the drive-in movie theater, and also go. Oh shoot, I don't remember what it's called, but there's a canyon at the far north end of the map, that you go to and meet up with a bunch of caravanners.
Yeah.
And so those are the ways. That's how you get into the DLC.
Interesting. And it's not okay. The game can't be some sort of like black magic where when I finish it on one save file, I can't access my old save. I can still reload my old save file and finish the game again with a different save file, right? Like it's
Yeah.
okay. I got a panic attack and I was thinking, wait a second, what if it like, just kills the character? You know what I mean? Like, just you finished the game. We're taking your save files.
Yeah. No.
Good. Okay. There's a couple other different ways, and there's some more things that you can do that I did not do with this last quest with the NCR.
So did you ever save the president?
There's a few different ways that I played it. I did save the president one way when I reloaded it today, but in my main save, the president is dead. And the one that I'm gonna play through, that's the one I was surprised in. It's the first thing that happened. Was that I listened to most of his speech, and then the sniper popped his head from that tower in the back. So that's
then that definitely wasn't me, because I didn't wait until he got very far into the speech.
Shut up, dude. Windbag, good night. So there's another way to. Okay, this is how I saved him. He's up there about to do his speech. He's on his way up, and then there's someone dressed sort of oddly coming out of a different room in the back, out of the tower the vertibird lands on. He wanders out, and I'm like, wow, this guy's dressed sort of weird. He looks funny. I'm just gonna go talk to him. And I noticed that my the speech possibilities, one of them, I could tell they're just different. I said, oh, wow, okay, something is weird. Okay, I need to look into this guy a little more. So I was just like, checking into him. And the more questions I asked, it's like one of the options is, oh, well, we can take this outside to keep this quiet. And I'm like, okay, that's interesting. And then one of them's like, well, I can call the NCR guards right now. And I was like, okay. And the other one was just like, oh, whatever, buddy. Have a good day. So if you wanted to let him go ahead and do his thing, that was an option. He's labeled as NCR engineer. He has sort of a crazy one-piece zip-up jumpsuit on. Almost looks like a, I don't know, hazmat suit without a helmet or something. But if you do the speech options that you get him agitated at you, he then all of a sudden shouts, "Death to all enemies of the Legion," and pulls out a knife and starts like stabbing at your face. Oh my God. So at that point, that initiates the assassination routines. There's at least two I know. There's this guy with the knife and the sniper. I know that there's at least two, but that initiates that sequence to go off. So if that guy starts stabbing, the president can still get shot. There's a way to play it, and I didn't quite figure out how to. You have to take the sniper out first, and then the guy with the knife second. But the only weapon I've been carrying with me, Ray, I've sort of disbanded all ballistic weapons and energy weapons for that matter. I've just got my power fist. That's the only thing I've been using. Great. The one in Vegas is a really, really good weapon. I've got Cass with me, so she's my range weapon anyway. You know what I mean? Like she does all my shooting for me.
Yep.
And I've got Rex as well. So, anyway, so the way that I have it is, I talked I agitated the engineer. He said, you know, Ali Akbar or whatever, and tried to kill me. So I shot him. And I think the president still got shot in that one. There is one, okay, where you take the sniper out first, and then the guy with the knife, and then the president can escape. And then you see the vertibird fly off and everything. There is a repair one, like you mentioned. There's a repair way to complete it. There's a repair one where you can find access up to the top of the tower to look at the vertibird, and if your repair is above 50 or 60, you can analyze the vertibird and you find that someone has strapped a bomb to the underside. So that was going to kill the president as he flew away. You can disarm that bomb if you have the repair skill. And I think there might be a science option too. It might also be either a science or a repair skill. I think you could use either if you have either of those skills. Another way is to that engineer. He's carrying the detonator for that bomb that I just mentioned. The detonator, if you pickpocket that off of the guy, that means that he can't use that to blow up the helicopter. And if you kill him, he can't blow up the helicopter as it's flying away. That engineer that I just mentioned is a point of direction from someone inside. I also read about, I didn't actually do this previously, but then I read about it online, so I went back to check in. But there's a woman in the top of the tower where the vertibird lands. And in that tower, she says she's missing a friend, where you can find some clues around. If you go down the stairs, there's a little hidden storage closet that's Harry Potter style hidden under the stairs. If you go into that storage room, there's some blood on the floor, and you can analyze that blood. But you have to have I don't remember. It's either high intelligence or a high. It's not medic, because that is one of mine, but it's. I don't remember. You have to have a high check to look at that blood on the floor. And then you can get some information and look around, find more clues, and help that girl and discover that something fishy has been going on. But anyway, all of her clues lead back to that engineer that I was talking about that infiltrated the NCR. So there's a Legion guy dressed as a NCR engineer, and that is pretty much the guy that you have to take down in order to save the president. But like I said earlier, the playthrough that I'm keeping, that I'm going to proceed with, is I have just tracked down Colonel Moore to find out what we're going to do next, because, oh my God, they just shot the president. So
she probably isn't going to be very happy with you.
Yeah, I want to find Ranger Grant too, to see what he says, because actually there's one way I play it, and I haven't reloaded this one, but after the president is shot and I didn't attack anyone, I didn't pull out any guns, I didn't prevent the president from being shot, so the Legion guys who were there didn't attack me. And the NCR guys, because I was dressed in NCR armor, they didn't attack me either, even though I had like a weapon out. Like every time I pulled out a weapon beforehand, they would go crazy and attack you. They think you're going to attack the president just because I pull my power fist out. You know, it's like, I'm standing 50 yards away from the dude. I'm not going to be able to attack him with a power fist from this distance, jerks. Yeah. So neither side went hostile on me. So it was weird. It's like the quest wouldn't progress because the president was dead. And I don't know. It was just really weird. Because I would go up and talk to the guards, and they were still acting like the president wasn't dead yet, even though he was like, his dead body was standing at our feet. And I like turned and talked to the guard next to the guy. And the guard was like, "Nothing will happen to the president on my watch." Like, turn him to the floor. I'm like, his brain is on your shoes, dude. I don't know what is. Yeah, but it was just weird. One of the ways I played it is just like for some reason, the NCR guards didn't really react when he died. I don't know exactly how I played it, but that was one of those things. But you know how those Bethesda games go. Sometimes they get caught up on themselves, and I couldn't get the quest to progress that way, so I reloaded and tried it all those other different ways too. But and the one that I'm going to play through, the president is dead, and I'm about to speak to Colonel Moore to see what we're going to do about it. And that's where I've left it. And yeah, so what are we doing next, Ray? We've got coming up Thursday, February 8th at 10 p.m. Eastern, we're doing episode 13 of the season 4 roundtable here. Mr. House, you're doing All or Nothing. Yes, man. No gods, no masters. NCR, Eureka. And Caesar's Legion, Veni Vidi Vici. That's going to be our last quest. And then coming up Thursday, February 15th, we're going to have our last batch of our excellent feedback we've been getting from everyone. I really enjoyed those big, chunky, longer feedbacks, the beefy ones that we got last time. That was really great, guys. Keep up the good work on the feedback. But I don't know exactly what date it'll be. We're trying to schedule a date when we can have all the feedback guys on with we hosts, so we can have a nice wrap-up show. I thought it'd be awesome to have Leon, Craig, and Steve on. If we can find a time where Pat and Ray and I can meet up with those guys. I thought that'd be really fun to have a big wrap-up show.
Yep.
It'd be great. Did you get into any DLC with this character? Are you about to kill the finish off the character without getting into much DLC?
No, I think I'll hang on to him. He's been a lot of fun. So,
yeah,
we'll have to see. Well, I'll have plenty of saves to go back to.
Yeah, that's good. Oh, I'm not.
He's still fairly low on the levels, so I've got a long way to go.
Well, if you didn't have DLCs loaded, you're 2/3 of the way done. If you don't have DLCs loaded,
but I do.
But you do. Yeah. Okay, I mentioned that recruitable NCR dog. I'm thinking about going back on a save file, losing Rex for a minute, and just to see if I can recruit that dog, and then taking that, see if it'll let me like fast travel out, and see if the dog will follow me, just to see if that'll work. Oh, Ray. One last note here I have to mention before we sign off. Would you like to say anything about our new project?
The Patreon project?
Yes, sir.
That was so stinking fun. So Colin is our dungeon master, and he has cooked up a Skyrim Dungeons and Dragons. And the first couple of episodes we recorded, and Andrew, Pat, and I lean on Pat, who's the only one that's actually played Dungeons and Dragons out of the three of us, as we enter into Colin's story, and it was definitely a lot of fun. So it will show up in the Patreon feed first, and after a yet to be determined length of time, it'll get released out into the to the regular feed. Yeah. And we definitely had a blast. It was quite interesting.
Yeah, we'll have to figure out how we're going to push it out to the rest of the people. I don't know. Maybe we'll try to make it an extra incentivize to get people to sign on to that Patreon, because it's totally worth it. We recorded at least the first 3 episodes there. I've got it broken down. I think we'll stick with 3 episodes, a good chunks. They're about an hour and a half each. But it's been an amazing fun time. Colin put a lot of very hard, in-depth work into fleshing out the story, which story we're going to follow, and sort of, he knows the Skyrim world very, very well, like the back of his hand. So, but it's still you have to apply the Skyrim world onto a different game that already has a set of rules, but Skyrim has a specific set of mechanics. But that's not to say that Dungeons and Dragons functions exactly like Skyrim does. So, and this is my first time ever playing. I've never played Dungeons and Dragons before. Ray, I believe you've never played Dungeons and Dragons either. I've
No.
The closest I've ever come to. There's an old board game called Hero Quest that was sort of like, it's a tabletop game, like it's a board game that you have actually pieces that you move around, but there is a dungeon master and he has a setup behind him and there's like a grid set out, sort of like Battleship, and he sets monsters up on that. Well, you get an instruction book, and the instruction book has the Battleship grid where monsters are set up, and then he, like, as you step into a room, he like puts all the pieces down in the room where it's revealed to you, oh, the doorway is here, and then you look to the left and, oh, you see a big monster, watch out. But it seems to be like sort of a middle ground between a board game and Dungeons and Dragons. You know what I mean? Because there was, like, it wasn't hugely in depth, but there were like many character sheets and stuff that came with it. But anyway, that game was really fun. I used to like that a lot. But that's probably the closest I've ever come to doing anything like Dungeons and Dragons.
I played Skyrim.
Yeah, that's fairly close, I guess, right? It's video game.
No, he did a great time. He did a great job. It was so much fun, and he was quite patient with the two of us.
Oh yeah, I don't know. He seemed appreciative. I was trying not to get too crazy with it, I guess. But no, for just being, neither of us know what the hell's going on. We're just learning how this goes. But yeah, they were holding our hands and walking us slowly through the process. But I think it's a fun listen, and it's a buck a month, guys. We'll get you these awesome early access episodes to. We are calling it Skyrim 10 AD. And that means, I guess we need to tell this. We didn't really tell the storyline, did we? It takes place 10 years after Alduin has been defeated.
Yeah, 10 years after Dragon.
10 years after Dragon. That's perfect. Good one, Ray. So, everyone, please check that out. Hop over to Patreon. We're posting those over there at a Patreon. So if you like access, $1 a month would be very awesome of you all. Ray, do you have anything else that you would like to get into this evening?
I think I'm good to go.
Right on. Well, Ray, thank you for joining me, and everyone out there. Please enjoy finishing up the game next week with us. It'll be we'll have to shed a tear, pour a little Nuka-Cola out on the curb for our fallen characters.
And even if you haven't been keeping up all the way along, spend a couple hours this weekend and send us some feedback.
Ray, I'm such a jerk. I'm trying to sign off here, and last week, right before we went on to the air, and I didn't even check the email last week, someone sent us an email that I should have noticed, and I should have put on the show last week. And I'm such an idiot. But there's an email here. Do you mind if we get into an email?
No, absolutely.
Oh my Lord, this is a very long email. So hang tight for a second. Hello, Fallout Feed. This is Josh from Idaho with Granger's Play Along. I had a hard time waiting to play this game, so I played non-Yes Man, my assigned faction quests. Unfortunately, that caused some of those quests to fail, so I restarted my character because I wasn't saving anything back far enough. Rookie mistake, I know. I used the Black Widow perk and I killed Benny right after we slept together. That was a lot easier than last time when I attacked him when I got to the room. It took some advice from the other feedbacks that I heard. I completed the Ace in the Hole by talking to Yes Man about taking over New Vegas. He is quite a character. I went on to the change in management. I killed Mr. House in his antechamber by sterilizing it. I don't remember that. That was one of the options. I don't even remember that. I installed Yes Man at the Lucky 38. He showed me the upgrades to the Securitrons. They are very powerful. Oh, that's cool. I reached level 10 and took the Toughness perk. I moved on to You and What Army? I upgraded those Securitrons and told Caesar that I was not working for him. He told me to leave and never return. I reached level 12 and took the Life Giver perk. I did side bets boomers. I used my medicine level to help the patients, found the teddy bear, Mr. Cuddles, and gave it to Lindsay. I took care of the ants using the sonic emitter and found the grenade launcher Thump Thump. I went to the museum and listened to the history of the boomers. I got the quest to raise the lady. I had Boone and Eddie with me, and I fast traveled to the location near the lake where the lady was. Unfortunately, that was the fort, so a gunfight broke out. Luckily, Boone and Eddie are such good fighters that we took care of them quickly, and then we were able to proceed to the lake. I used the rebreather to place the airbags onto the lady and raise it from the water. I returned to the lake. I returned and let the boomers know that the lady had been raised. I was able to get the boomer support in any coming wars. The boomers are awesome. I hope that they can provide you with some boom. I went back and notified Yes Man that the boomers are on our side. Then I went to Side Bets, the White Glove Society. I couldn't find out much about them. I spoke with Mortimer and Marjorie, but they didn't tell me anything, so I went back and told Yes Man. I moved on to Side Bets, Omertas, and the Cons. I invited the Omertas first. I stole Cochino's journal and sold it to Big Sal for 200 caps, and Big Sal wanted to help me out. But I was a little quick in my playthrough, and I was not sure what I was helping with. I knew what I was going to help Clandon get chlorine gas after I passed a science check. I stole that from the Ultralux pool supply room. Oh, that's awesome. Good spot. I then helped out another person employed by the Omertas. The Fiends had stolen some gun parts from him. So I got the gun parts back and returned them. I went to talk to Big Sal and let him know it was completed, and he was happy that I was on their side to attack the strip. I figured they weren't attacking another casino, and I didn't realize it was the whole strip. I figured they were attacking another casino. I didn't realize it was the whole strip. So I lost some karma with the people and the strip. Oops. That's what happens when you don't pay enough attention. I told Yes Man to leave the Omertas alone. Then I moved on to the Cons. I was previously vilified by them because on this playthrough, I attacked them at Boulder City. No one wanted to talk to me. They just told me that I was a killer because Boone was with me. As soon as I walked into Red Rock Canyon, I got the prompt to let Yes Man know that the Cons can be ignored, so I let him know that. Next is Side Bets and the Brotherhood of Steel. On the way to the Brothers' bunker, I ran into some more powder gangers. I am now vilified by them. I found the Brothers' bunker, powder gangers, and let's see. That's interesting. Ray, who would you rather have, the powder gangers or the boomers on your side for that final battle? Boomers.
The boomers for sure.
But I like explosive stuff. Powder gang, that dynamite's fun. Let's see. I found the Brotherhood's bunker was made to give up all my possessions, and they put a collar on me. That is so demeaning. I hate that. They wanted to have me deal with the NCR Ranger that was in the area. I talked to the Ranger and tried to get him to leave, but he wouldn't go. I didn't want to tell him that the Brotherhood was in the area, so I killed him. I went back and reported to McNamara that I had what I had done. He informed me that they could hear everything. So I was really glad that I didn't give up the base's information. Oh, that's awesome. They were eavesdropping on him. I didn't even realize that part. That's really cool. He asked me to help find some patrols and retrieve holotapes if the soldiers were dead. Then I was leaving his chambers. Hardin, the second in command, asked me to find a way to replace McNamara. He told me that I would look into it. Wait, if you're doing so many cool things for him, why are you going to look into it? I spoke with the head of security. I believed he wanted to help scribe Iben. I'm not sure if I pronounced that right. Iben to cure a computer virus. I met with the scribe and used a science check to quarantine the virus. I had to run around to the different terminals to secure the virus. Oh, I remember you guys talking about that. That sounded super annoying.
Yeah.
It took me 2 tries to get it correct. You had to save scum or something, I remember.
Yep.
After that, the security officer gave me access to files about how to replace the head honcho of the Brotherhood of Steel. I read about the chain that binds and was where orders had to go in succession of rank. So the top had to give orders to the second in command, and then they would give the third, and so on and so on. McNamara broke his chain of binds when he sent out patrols, and Hardin didn't know anything about it. I went out into the waste and located the holotape by Black Mountain. Then I went to the RepCon headquarters to find another one. The last one was by the Boomers and the Nellis Air Force Base. Luckily, they liked me, so they weren't bombing me.
That's handy.
Yes. I went back to the Brotherhood of Steel bunker and sided with Hardin and replaced McNamara. I let Yes Man know that he should leave the Brotherhood of Steel alone. He informed me that he thinks the Brotherhood will be our biggest enemy. Ray, can you explain Yes Man to me and what he's doing? Is he also recruiting people at this point? Because it seems like he gives you the option to ignore a lot of people.
Right. So he sends you out to meet all the different players in the game, all the factions.
Yeah.
And then you decide, who's going to be in and who's going to be out of the new Vegas.
Yeah. Is there a way to include everybody? Or do they automatically say, make a either or choice?
I would imagine you could do everybody. I mean, I don't think I've ever tried to keep the Brotherhood of Steel.
Yeah. Because they'd be fun to have on your side, and the Boomers would all be awesome to have on your side.
The Boomers I always do, because they're a lot of fun.
Okay, now there must be a difference here between recruiting people to fight for you at the dam and whatever the fuck politics are going on over at the strip. Right?
Yeah. So right, with the Yes Man playthrough, you aren't concerned about who's going to be fighting who at the dam. You're concerned with, the assumption is that you are going to prevail and that New Vegas is going to be independent. And
okay.
So all it is it's you deciding, who you're going to let play in your new sandbox.
So can you just, if you're a Yes Man playthrough, do you actually even need to be involved in the final battle? Can you just let those two factions go kill each other and then whatever left over go kill that one? Or
no, because you have to finish it off.
Okay. Interesting. And I was hoping that all of these factions that we've been messing with the last few episodes, like the Omertas and the White Glove Society, I was hoping that those weren't just politics, but you could actually recruit them to fight, because I'd love to see the White Glove people out there in their dainty little gloves and hats.
Whacking people with their canes.
Yeah, tiptoeing around and whacking people with canes. That sounds really, really fun. The Brotherhood of Steel versus the White Glove Society. Death cage match. Anyway, I'll continue with the email here. Sorry. I guess between the Omertas, the Brotherhood, and the White Glove Society, I know they are cannibals from listening to other feedback. I'm leaving all sorts of the wrong factions out there. Oh well, that's what makes Fallout so fun, right? I informed Yes Man that I'm going to guard President Kimball. I believe this is so that I can set him up as the fall guy later. Oh, really? Interesting. That'll be fun. One thing I did notice is that my gun was jamming as the condition deteriorated. I've never noticed that. That's cool. I like that mechanic and how you can repair the weapons with other weapons. I was glad to hear from Pat on a previous episode that you can repair the named weapons with the same type of regular gun. I thought you could only repair them at shops or with weapon repair kits. Thank you for listening to my feedback. I decided to email because I am getting over a cold and didn't think anyone would want to hear my scratchy voice and occasional coughing. Thanks again for everyone who participated in the fantasy football, and congratulations to Chad on a well-fought victory. I hope everyone comes back next year. That was a lot of fun. Take care, Josh. Josh, that was awesome. Huge, big email. Wonderful. Please keep them coming. Love to hear your voice next time if you get over your cold. And congratulations on a very successful season to you, sir, in the ASA podcasting fantasy football. If anyone would like to be involved in fantasy football next season, I know there's the big game. We're not supposed to say the word Super Bowl. Big game this weekend. But next season, if you're interested in fantasy football, we have a very lively group of fantasy football fans involved in the Fallout feed, and we have lots of fun chatting in the background and trash talking each other and everything. So it was a really good time if you'd like to be involved. And thanks again, Josh, for that wonderful email. And before we sign off, Ray, I apologize again. Such an awful host. Last week, I also omitted an email from Kenneth. Hey, Andrew and the Wasteland Wanderers. I dusted off Fallout 3 and I'm going through it again. Here's my backstory for my character, Decker Williams. Since we literally follow our character's childhood, I blended the events from those tutorial levels into this backstory. See you in the Wasteland, Kenneth. Oh, shoot. I just backed out of the email. Kenneth. Okay. An excerpt from the journal of Decker Williams. I am Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end. I will give unto him that is at thirst. What is that? What is that word? At thirst? Sorry, I'm not a biblical guy if you couldn't tell. The beginning and the end, I will give unto him that is athirst of the fountain of the water of life freely. So reads Revelations 21:6. It was a verse that meant a lot to my mother, Catherine. She was a woman of faith, devout in her belief, but did that verse mean anything to me? Well, she died giving birth to me, so no. The verse didn't mean anything. Didn't mean anything to me growing up. Later in life, however, it did. But that's jumping ahead of my story. Let's go back to the beginning. I was born in Vault 101, almost 2 centuries after the Great War. My father was the Vault Doctor, but even he couldn't save my mother's life. My first memory is of my dad, James. I was 1, maybe 2 years old. He put me in a makeshift playpen, and I promptly opened that gate. I was always the little explorer. You could hardly keep me in one of my own rooms for more than a few minutes. My dad was the leading doctor in the vault, so I rarely saw him. My exploratory nature probably developed as a way to cope. I was never a strong kid, but to make up for it, I trained myself to be perceptive. Look at all the environments. You know what's around me, what I could use in any given situation. It became a game for me, so I did my best to stay healthy and in shape. Unfortunately, I was socially awkward and didn't have much charisma, and I still don't. But boy, was I smart. That was by far my best attribute. I'd say my worst, other than strength, was my luck, or lack thereof. I learned real quick not to gamble, and never got me anywhere. Growing up, I had no real friends. It didn't help that there were only 4 other kids my age, and instead, I preferred to spend my time exploring the vault, especially going places I wasn't allowed. Sneaking around the vault security officers was always fun, especially Officer Gomez. He was the only officer who was kind to me, and he never got mad at me for going into restricted areas. But he did get mad when he caught me stealing. I don't know why I steal. It's not like I need anything. I never stole valuable stuff. It's just mostly junk or junk food and replaceable items. It was fun, but around the time I turned 16, I stopped doing it. Can't say why I stopped either. I just got bored with it. I did love school. Mr. Botch was a teacher from kindergarten through high school. He was African American, and I always tried to find new material to learn, especially of Africa. I loved reading on life before the Great War or searching for magazines with pictures on the surface. I loved pictures of the forests, jungles in particular. The vibrant green was always something I dreamed of seeing for myself one day. I wish I could go visit the Congo jungle. Congo, 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 I don't want to leave the jungle. Oh, no, 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 no. I love that song. Ray, I listened to the whole Fallout 4 soundtrack at work today.
Yeah,
man, that song is so racist. Have you heard? I know you're probably not a Diamond City Radio guy, but do you ever listen to the music?
I hear it, but I haven't really listened to it.
That song is so racist. It's so crazy. Oh, Danny Kaye. And what, the Andrew sisters? Yeah, I think so. Okay, sorry. I wish I could go visit the Congo jungle. Science and technology were my favorite subjects in vault school. Vault school, that's so great. Building electronic devices and fixing broken ones was also a ton of fun. Stanley Armstrong, the vault's maintenance man, was my go-to buddy for all mechanical mischief. He was closest. He was the closest thing I had to a grandpa in the vault. He spoiled me as best he could, even when my dad wasn't a fan of it. Jonas Palmer was a medical technician and most often working with my father, but when he had spare time, he often worked with me on science projects. I imagine my father put him up to it, but thanks to him, I did learn a lot about medicine and first aid. I figured it'd be handy if I ever had to leave the vault. Looking back on it, I may not have had friends my age, but between Mr. Botch, Stanley, and Jonas, I had all the friends I needed. My studies helped me avoid the other kids, and there were 3 boys who liked making fun of me and pushed me around. 2 of them were white like me, and 1 of them was black. The white ones, mainly Butch and Deloria, were the main problem. Butch liked egging the other kids to tease me and made my life uncomfortable. The black kid, Paul, seemed to have a lot in common with me, but if he sided with me, he'd be at odds with the other 2. I can't really blame him. At least he always tried to be nice or apologize when the others weren't around. Amata was the girl. She was cute, but since she was the only girl I knew, I had no reference for what ugly was supposed to be. The crazy thing, though, she seemed to like me. I can't say it was my charming personality, since I had the personality of a peanut. I can't say it was my intelligence, since she never talked much about things that involved school. My best guess was that the only boy different is that I was the only boy different from the others. So I was her one crush by default. But since I wasn't into romance and the fact that her dad was the overseer of the vault, I never reciprocated the attention. Still, Amata didn't give up. She planned my 10th birthday party. It genuinely surprised me. My dad got me my first Pit Boy, a small computer mounted to my wrist. As you can imagine, I was ecstatic. I could monitor my health and vitals and served as a notepad and a mapping system, and it could track where I'd been. My dad also got me my very first BB gun. I can't say I was excited for it. Everything I read about the war and violence that came from the Great War affected me, and I decided to be a pacifist. Still, I understood the importance of soldiers who carried guns. They were the ones who always seemed to be screwed by the governments that gave them the orders. They enlisted to protect citizens, but died protecting politicians. Anyway, he made me do target practice with the BB gun down in the basement with Jonas. A full-grown radroach popped out of a vent, at least a foot long or more. I shot the thing up before it could get to me. Looking down at it, I couldn't imagine what people before the Great War would have thought of seeing something so big. Living in the vault, I was used to them, of course, but back then, all they had were normal cockroaches, just a couple inches long. The other thing I remember about that birthday was a gift I got from Beatrice Armstrong, Stanley's daughter. I know what you're thinking. If Stanley was like my grandpa, Beatrice must be like my aunt or substitute mother or something, right? Wrong. She was a nutcase. The gift was a poem, spilling all kinds of crazy nonsense about suffocation and gray walls and condemnation. Looking back, I think the vault life didn't suit her. Either it made her crazy, or maybe she was born that way. When I was 16, I had to take the GOAT, the GOAT test, the generalized optional aptitude test. On my way to the classroom, I saw the 3 boys giving Amata some grief. During their teen years, they had formed a little gang called the Tunnel Snakes. They were dressed all slick with black leather jackets and their hair greased back. Supposed to look like greasers from the 1950s. I skirted around them and hurried into class. The test was nonsense, really. It's supposed to help you figure out where you should be working in the vault, but it only revealed what I already knew about myself. Since I already knew what I was interested in, I convinced Mr. Botch to let me skip the test. I liked anything having anything to I liked anything having to do with science, technology, and mechanics, with a touch of medicine. So I figured I was likely to work in maintenance, which would have been perfect. I could hang out with Stanley, avoid most of the others, and focus on my tasks, and be allowed to go almost anywhere in the vault. Those were the highlights of growing up in Vault 101. As you can see, it wasn't much. It was repetitive and a bit boring. But all that changed shortly after my 19th birthday, the day my dad left the vault. All right, wonderful email from Kenneth. I was totally
that takes me back.
That's I played Fallout 3 probably about a year ago now, and I just did like the fastest speed run I could through it just to say that I finished it. But eventually, Ray, we are going to have to do a Fallout 3 roundtable, right?
At some point.
Ray's like,
I just have to figure out if I still have a computer that'll play it.
crickets. Yeah, Ray's going to dust off his Tandy 2000 or whatever those are called. Do you have the old IBM? Is IBM still a thing?
Well, the one that I started off on was a TI 99.
Attaboy. That's nice. Victor and Pat were talking about their first nerdery computers on the chat today. It was very nice. All right, Ray. Great emails, guys. Thanks so much for those emails, Josh and Kenneth. Keep them coming in. Feedback, guys. Go ahead and play your last 2 quests and get us your beefy feedbacks in. We'll love to play those 2 weeks from now. Everyone get into your last quest for next week, where Ray and I will definitely come into it. Hopefully Pat will be able to check in with us. And we'll see you guys in the wasteland.
Good night, everybody.
Thank you for downloading this episode of the Fallout Feed Roundtable. If you are interested in doing a play-along character with us, the show can be contacted by emailing falloutroundtable@gmail.com. For the Roundtable schedule, our Amazon link, and all other show information, please head on over to asapodcasting.com. where you will find the Fallout Feed, a Skyrimatic podcast, our YouTube channel, the Chatterbox, as well as other content. Once again, thank you for downloading, and we'll see you in the wasteland.